So greetings from my garage again. So today we're going to practice the QTA method reading the greenhouse effect. So I'm going to read this to you and then we're going to discuss this together as a class also. And we'll read little chunks and then kind of work through it and see what we can figure out. So our first part here is, and again, this is the greenhouse effect, and you can all follow along on your handouts. So the greenhouse effect is the rise in temperature that Earth experiences because certain gases in the atmosphere trap energy from the sun that is reflected off Earth, energy that would otherwise escape back into outer space. Scientists now believe that the greenhouse effect is making Earth warmer, enough to drastically change the climate. An increase in global temperature of just 1 degree can impact rainfall patterns and sea levels. The rise in temperature can cause problems for plants, wildlife, and humans. So, reflecting on that first passage, what big idea do we think that the author is trying to convey to us? So, you think this paragraph describes the greenhouse effect. Does the author explain that to us clearly? Yes, the author's first sentence is pretty long, which makes it confusing. So sometimes it's good to chunk out those long sentences into more manageable parts and look at each of the chunks or each of the ideas. So why don't we try that? What are all of the ideas the author presents in this one sentence? Okay, so to make the connection that the trapped energy is creating the rise in temperature, I had to know that heat is a form of energy. Okay, what else is the author telling us in that sentence? Is there anything else? And what does the author say about why the energy isn't escaping to outer space? Can we look back and see what the author says about why the energy is not escaping into outer space? How? So the author tells us that the greenhouse effect is making Earth warmer. What does the author tell us about the impact of that? The impact of the Earth getting warmer. The author says the rise in temperature can cause problems for plants, wildlife, and humans. But what does that mean? What does the author, what does the author mean when she says that? Does the author tell us how? So in this passage, the author does not provide us with any specific information about the problems, but rather a general idea of them. So I can use what I know now about how heat affects living things like myself. I can use what I know in my own life about how heat affects living things. Like I know that our classroom plants wilt when it gets too hot in here. And the text tells us that the greenhouse effect might cause problems for living things, but it doesn't go into specifics. It seems that from this passage, the specific effects are not the author's focus. So let's read further to see what direction the author will take. So we'll go back to our passage and we're going to read section 2, the second paragraph. Everyone follow along. Water vapor, carbon dioxide, or CO2, methane, CH4, nitrous oxide, N2O, this is a big one, and chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, ozone, or O3, perfluorocarbons, PFCs. These letters in the parentheses, you'll learn more about that when you guys take chemistry, but that's a shortened way that chemists and scientists talk about these great big words. So the next one is hydrofluorocarbons, or HFCs, are the greenhouse gases, okay, in our atmosphere. These types of gases behave much like the glass panes of a greenhouse. The glass lets in light but prevents heat from escaping, causing the greenhouse to heat up, much like the inside of a car parked in the sun on a hot day. So what did the author just tell us in that paragraph? Okay. And what do the gases do? Can anyone say more about that? Have any additional thoughts? Okay. Does the author explain how the greenhouse effect got its name? Why did they start calling it that? And what did the text say about how a greenhouse works? So in a greenhouse, the glass traps the heat. But I'm still confused about what that has to do with this list of gases that we read, those big crazy words. What do you think? And how do you think the gases do that? Oh, okay. I think I understand now. Thank you guys. So Amira thinks the gases are thick, and Sophie says the gases trap the heat. As a reader, I can visualize that. I'm picturing a thick cloud of gases around the Earth. The cloud of gases is so thick that it traps heat inside, like when all the windows of a car are closed on a hot day. But how would you keep Earth from getting too cold? Oops, that's not my line. Okay. Aaron got us thinking of potential solutions for the greenhouse effect. I think there's a career in that somewhere. Maybe reading the rest of the passage will help us to brainstorm more ideas for reducing the greenhouse effect.